Hi, hi, hello, hello. We have a new chapter of Attack on Titan. We are heading into what I'm sure is the climactic battle of the entire series. How could it not be? The founding Titan summoning all previous generations of the Nine Titans, scrabbling around on its giant skeletal back. A two-pronged operation to counterattack. They're trying to set off some explosives around the neck of Eren slash the founding Titan to try to decapitate him. Generally a pretty reliable method of killing people, but as Gabby pointed out, he did have a weird centipede trick. Centipedes in my spinal cord? It's more likely than you think. That allowed him to reattach his head. So we're not really sure how well that will work out. The other plan is to get Armin back and get a Colossal Titan on their side. Armin was eaten by this strange pig Titan. Nobody can really identify what breed of Titan it is. At first, we thought it was just some rando reincarnated Titan. But at the end of last chapter, Armin finds himself in the weird end of Evangelion world with Zeke. And Zeke says, "You got eaten by Ymir too, huh?" So is the pig Titan the Titanification of Ymir? Does that make sense? I thought, she was like the founding Titan, but not really. The founding Titan is like the parasite itself, I think. And Ymir was just like the first Titan before the other 9 inherited Titans. And it would kind of make sense in the way that Titans take on the features and kind of like a manifestation of the personality of the person who Titanizes, because Ymir had the whole thing where she was accused of setting the pigs free, right? Setting the pigs free? Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm something with pigs. Something with Ymir and pigs. Okay. So what is Armin going to be able to do with Zeke in this weird liminal space? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Or, this chapter title is Titans. We could have, for the first time ever, an actual biological, scientific breakdown of how the heck Titans work. Is that even something I want? I was so surprised when, in the end, Titanification and Titans, the origin wasn't some supremely all-powerful god-like being or like an ancient technology run amok or anything like that. It was just this weird parasite that was in a pond that Ymir happened to fall into. Just the sense of like just this blind chaotic force of nature being behind all of the very sophisticated interpersonal struggles and societal problems of this world through the Titans, that in the end there wasn't really any evil behind it. There wasn't any deliberation or cruelty. It was just this thing. I really liked that. I thought that was so unique and so weird. So I don't really want that undermined. But I suppose if they more explicitly go into, yeah, this is just like a really weird animal, that would be okay? Okay, let's see. Very long time ago, back when there was nothing but physical matter in this world, masses of material formed and dissolved over and over until finally something managed to survive. Yeah, that's basically it. There ended up being molecules that can like stitch themselves together. Sorry, I just want to check a message quick. That they could replicate themselves by arranging another set of molecules such that it sticks together with the first set of molecules, and then those could peel away and then create 2 more and 2 more and 2 more until we had these self-replicating molecular devices, and this eventually emerged into what we know as life. That which remained is what we now call life. We get some Cambrian explosion type guys here. This guy in the bottom is called like a hallucino something. They're called hallucigenia. Yeah. It's like another type of worm it showed there. There they are. The Lobopedians. These guys. This guy here. Just kind of traditional. You see these specific creatures evoked a lot when talking about how weird early life looked. The way that different body forms spread out like this, and then there's various extinction level events, and now we have a pretty limited way that bodies are composed. It's very, very interesting to read about. See some jellyfish in the background, very ancient things. Some coral and sponges. I love just these looks at primordial life in little shallow ponds and stuff with the light filtering down. It's a very evocative image to me. The reason why life managed to survive is because of its ability to multiply. Yes, exactly. I like that he's making a depiction of the walled cities in the sand in this place. At first he was just making like a lump. And now that Armin's here, I guess he feels like he's got to show off. In order to do that, life changed its form, adapted to its environment, and eventually us humans were created. We grew in numbers, spread, and thrived. This means that the purpose of life is to multiply. Yeah, it's pretty much. It's a genetic theory of life that explains basically a lot of behavior. Most things can be explained by stuff wanting to pass down its genes. You can read Richard Dawkins' The Selfish Gene, a phenomenal piece of scientific literature, even though I think Richard Dawkins is kind of an idiot, or at least has revealed himself to be an idiot on Twitter in the last decade or so. But The Selfish Gene is certainly a worthy read. But the sand, rocks, water, these things do not attempt to multiply. Still, even now, life forms desperately to try to procreate. At any rate, the extinction of species goes against this principle of multiplying. That is why living things are regulated by the feeling of fear. That girl was also just desperately trying to get away from suffering, and thus created a more powerful, bigger, and invulnerable body and escaped to a world where death does not exist. Okay, we took a big leap here. This is how life works. Here's a bunch of little bugs and things. They want to pass on their genes. They don't want to die before they pass on their genes. All of that kind of follows from one to the other. But what the heck? Ymir turns into a titan. This is a really cool shot, though. Again, just the crazy biological look of these worm-like squirming titan bug monster things. It's such a unique kind of like aesthetic layer to this series, that the series already has like the iconography of the titans peeking up over the wall, flying around the 3D maneuver gear, swish swish slash slash, but then that there's like this hidden layer of iconography that behind that are actually these like really weird things, like the serum that you inject to titan eyes, or these parasite type things, or stuff about spinal fluid and stuff. About the ancestor Ymir, here's the world that does not exist. What on earth is Ymir doing all about this? Okay. Why wasn't she able to go against King Fritz? Somehow she must have some lingering feeling of attachment. Here we see glimpses of the Ymir flashback. The ancestors' Earth. Aaron could sympathize and understand it while I couldn't. That's why Ymir attached herself to him. Okay. This is somewhat a comical shot. Zeke running over. Stop hugging that girl! I don't know. It's just like the amount of expression in his face kind of wraps around to just comical. Anyway to the outside world, but from here. Knows, but I don't think it's possible. So yeah, Armin knows that he was swallowed by a titan. He knows that he's disconnected from his physical body. He has a sense, he can sense the other Eldians fighting. He knows things aren't going super hot. He wants to get back. And he was even able to deduce, oh, this isn't some like near-death hallucination on my part. There's aspects of it that prove that I'm actually in a separate real place, even though I don't really know how that links up with the real world. Ooh. Why? For the purpose of multiplying. Is it really that important for you to keep your species alive? See, this is really cool. I hadn't seen this coming, the way that they really nicely bring back Zeke's nihilism. Zeke, of course, was the one that said we should use the Eldian body modification function of Ymir and just make all Eldians impotent, make them all unable to reproduce, and then we will just graciously and kindly walk together hand in hand into extinction. Voluntary extinction movements are quite interesting to me. They exist in real life as well. Anyways, yeah, a cool way to kind of like bring back that ideology into the series by having Zeke kind of explain from the ground roots his philosophy on life. What's happening out there right now is but a horrid sight of living things consumed by fear, fear brought upon them by their own meaningless actions. Armin, of course, is like, no, we gotta fight. We're fighting back against fear. We can save many people from fear if we act now. We gotta stop the rumbling. Everyone is gonna get squished if we don't stop them. Why means to save them, though. After all those who live are bound to die eventually anyways, right? So here I think Zeke is doing kind of a straw man of voluntary extinction movements and talking about like antinatalism, the sweet relief of death, the trouble with being born. If you really want to get into like the heavy, bleak, nihilistic stuff, it's a lot more solid than like, oh, they're gonna die eventually. But of course, I don't know. I can't expect that much. And of course, Armin is going to be the one to win here, to go off and do his thing. I severely doubt that Attack on Titan is going to end with most of the characters deciding to give up. Maybe right before dying, you actually feel some sort of relief. Because those meaningless days of being manipulated, living just so the species may multiply, are finally coming to an end. This is a little closer to like Peter Zapf and other antinatalist philosophers and stuff. But again, it's a very high-level, superficial thing. And it's really interesting, like, the way this page is broken down. Zeke shown in, like, a slightly distanced portrait, talking about the sweet relief of death, and then showing the eyes of all these people struggling to live in all these different circumstances all over the battlefield. Again, it's the sort of dynamic paneling that I've come to really appreciate in this series. I especially like how Armin's is like squared off, and then it gets like more and more aggressively slanted as you go down the page. Just this feeling of like cascading trauma, cascading fear, falling into the intensity of these emotions. But what is it meant to convey? I wonder how sympathetic we are supposed to be to Zeke's message right here, because another really predominant theme of the series is ending the cycle of violence. Do we end the cycle of violence through forgiveness, through acceptance, through peace? Or why not just end the cycle of violence through death? And you think, finally I'm free. Armin, kind of broken up about this, sees a leaf and remembers a day from their childhood. Mikasa and Eren running ahead of him to that famous hill where Eren is lying under a tree right at the start of the series, right? One day around sunset, the three of us raced to the tree at the top of the hill. Eren dared us to race and immediately dashed off, but Mikasa ran, but made sure not to outrun him and stay behind on purpose. I was dead last, of course. But the wind was warm and nice that day, and just running felt so good. So many fallen leaves fluttering around, and then, for some reason, I thought, maybe I was born just so the three of us could race here today. Reminds me of a scene from the Pixar movie Soul, where the main character finally learns to appreciate life after seeing a leaf flutter down. It's a little cliche. Leaves fluttering in the wind especially being kind of an image of introspection and profound realization of the beauty of life and stuff I've seen many times before. But there is a very, very real feeling that all of this is tapping into. A moment of complete contentedness, a feeling of, I don't know, just, like it was all worth it just for this. Like this is the moment that I was waiting for. This is the moment that I was suffering for. But like, this is pretty cool. The art of this page kind of disputes the claim of the words that we can see the wall in the distance, right? that Armin is saying, maybe I was born just so the three of us could race here today. But to kind of have that reductive, that simplification of the struggles of the world while being in the shadow of this huge wall, which exists through the sacrifices of many to keep you alive and not being ripped to shreds by titans. I don't know. It's interesting. It doesn't completely undermine his point. It doesn't say, but Armin was wrong. Life is a futile hellhole. But it gives you that opportunity that you can read into it either way you want. Like you can look at this moment and ask yourself, well, would I be content with that? Would I be happy if I was allowed to have this moment of perfect happiness in such a cruel and suffering-filled world? Zeke seems a little moved by this, perhaps. And on that rainy day when I stayed indoors to read, and a time when a squirrel came close and ate an acorn out of my palm, and when all of us were walking in the city together, I thought the same thing too. Yes, of course. The following this happened in Soul. Did the author of this watch Soul, the Pixar movie? But no, this is a pretty standard formatting of this kind of revelation. I felt that those seemingly meaningless moments were actually incredibly precious. And here, ooh, he's holding the leaf that he's thinking about that day when they were racing. But Zeke sees a baseball, and he thinks of when he was playing catch with Mr. whatever that guy's name was. You know, that was like his mentor and his father figure, that they would play catch together. Ooh, I like that. I really like how it's depicted in the manga too. Here we can see on this page, I went back a page, at the top panel, it internalizes us into Zeke's perspective. And then these next three things are Armin's depictions and Zeke's like visualizations of what Armin is saying. And then we continue with Zeke's perspective. I don't know. I'm such a nerd about these things. I hope it's like at all interesting to anyone watching this. We continue with Zeke's perspective. We still see Armin. Now he's holding the baseball, and it's interesting because the hand perspective, the he'd have to hold them different ways, and we can see when it cuts back to Armin's perspective behind Armin's shoulder that he is holding the leaf differently than Zeke saw him holding the baseball. For me, this thing isn't needed for multiplying or anything like that, and still it's very precious to me. Well, a leaf is it is supposed to help you, the tree, multiply. It takes in energy from the sun via photosynthesis so that the tree can grow, and then the tree can produce keys, in the case of most deciduous trees, the little seeds that can flutter off and grow new trees. So it kind of is. And even the fallen leaf, when it falls, it's designed to degrade and then provide nutrients for the soil so that the tree can grow better in the future. But maybe Armin doesn't know that. I don't know. It doesn't seem like their scientific knowledge is super great back on Paradise Island. Yeah. So now he's thinking of his time with his mentor, whose name eludes me, whose glasses he inherited. That's right, I just threw the ball and he caught it and threw it back. That's all we did over and over. It was meaningless, and still it was indeed. I would have rather just stayed there playing catch. And now a variety of people from his past emerged. His father, the spy guy that he worked with, the other people, you know, those guys. All these people emerging into the path. Most of them long dead, right? So this is truly a place without death. I mean, Ymir should have been dead generations ago. They're all here. Okay, now we come back to reality for the first time in the whole chapter. Pieck, who fought so valiantly last chapter, seems to be kind of nearing her limit. She'll fight 100 times, but what use is that if the opponent can fight a million. Hand feels I can still fight. Jean was there to detonate the explosives, but now seems to be retreating. Reiner going up against an entire army of Warhammer Titans. Finally taken down. Stabbed in many places. Okay. And here again is this weird pig, Okapi, some other animal type Titan. The one that they feel like if they kill it, Armin will come back. I don't know about that anymore. It feels like Ymir deliberately spirited him away out into the path, the end of Evangelion world. Annie's still fighting. I think they're doing a good sense of just the chaos of this battle, that we keep leaping to battles that are like close by, but tragically, you know, our heroes cannot. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Our heroes cannot unite, cannot present a unified front. The geography too is always coming to affect them, scrambling over the vertebrae and stuff of the founding Titan. It's really cool, really unique, really intense. But not much to say besides, oh. Ooh, this is, look at that shockwave. That's conveyed very well. The heck is she doing? How did she do that? Ooh. Whoa! Oh, Bertholdt still simping. Birdie's still simping, bro. Yeah, okay. So it was unclear exactly what these resurrected Titans were like doing. Whether Ymir was controlling all of them like puppets, or maybe Eren was controlling all of them like puppets, or if they were manifest with their own consciousness, but they've been kind of like brainwashed in order to serve Ymir's goals, or maybe they weren't brainwashed, maybe they just genuinely want to continue bringing about the rumbling, and they're like, yeah, screw Marley, screw all these countries. But whatever it is, it's imperfect. That the trace consciousness of Bertholdt when he was alive is still controlling the Colossal Titan to some extent. That he's okay with attacking other people, but he won't attack Annie. He still recognizes Annie. He's protecting her. I see. Okay. So in the end, even that was relevant. Even in the end, these kind of minor relationship type plots weave themselves in the final battle. Porco and Marcel, these are former inheritors of the Jaw Titan, one of the Titans that Marley had under their control, that are still loyal. Galliard, that was the one that went with them on their scouting expedition, right? Or was that Marcel? Even Ymir, even not, ancestor Ymir, but their friend Ymir, coming through. So our Chance, she jumps up at the pig Titan. Ooh, Gabby snipes it in the eye. Gabby hanging out with Levi here is really weird. It's a pairing that I never expected to see. The two of them sniping on the back of a flying Titan. It's getting wild, sure. Mikasa slices open the pig Titan. Ooh, and Armin's body does fly out. I had no idea what was going to happen here. It launches the disgusting, disturbing spring coil tongue snipe attack. Okay. He gets it in the leg. It's not going to be fatal. But he's awake. He was able to escape from the path simply by his body being revived. So his long introspective philosophical conversation with Zeke is cut short. Zeke is now just sitting there and building sandcastles with a bunch of ghosts. Anyways, Kay is crazy. Everybody flying everywhere. Armin lands in Annie's palm. This is like the other kind of emotional connection, because Armin has inherited Bertholdt's connection with Annie to some extent. And I'm sorry, but it's okay now. Right, it's just full-on Titan war. They have as many allies as enemies now, it seems. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure. Ooh. Ooh, could it be? Could it be? So they're in the path. They're having this conversation about the nature of life. Is life worth living? Some Hamlet to be or not to be type stuff. And maybe the other previous generations of Titans are witnessing this. They can hear it somehow. They also exist in this liminal space. And so their revived bodies that are being controlled, I guess, still mostly by them, they're like, hey, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't stomp the entire Earth flat in some final self-sacrificial gesture. Maybe people deserve to live, and maybe happiness is achievable. So like, all right, never mind. I'm going to attack the other set of Titans. Maybe? Is that what's going on? What's going on? The Titans are helping us. Ooh, and now Zeke himself pops out? I heard you miss me, Livy, but I sure didn't miss you. Okay. He's just popping out there shirtless. Trying to start beef again. In the path where there are neither life nor death, I woke them up for their sleep. Oh, so it's like, it's not even that these guys were already revived as Titans and then changed their mind. Like, I guess Bertolt was already revived. But maybe Ymir and Eren were deliberately reviving Titans that they knew would be sympathetic and not Titans that had some personal connection to our main protagonists. And now Zeke is like, no, everybody get out. If you're on our side, fight for us. Yeah, I don't know. All aliens are connected by the path. That is probably because the ancestor Ymir yearns for connection. She wants something from us. Okay, so this is what was happening on the inside. Berthold was there. Wish did not come to pass. I still think the merciful killing plan was right, but I also think I would be happy to be born again just so I could play catch with you. He's slipping. Antinatalist gang. Gonna cancel him. Gonna get kicked off the newsletter. But I don't know. I can't be too critical. It's a nice message. The idea of there are moments of such perfect bliss and contentment that it justifies your entire life is a nice idea. I hope that's true for at least some people. I suppose I should thank you, Father. Meanwhile, Armin is apologizing to Berthold? Not really. More challenging him. You can't just stay here and do nothing. Please lend us your power. Weather sure is nice today. Too bad I didn't realize that earlier. I don't deserve it anyways after all the killing I've done. Okay, that's real. He just can't help himself. It is not like he's a dummy. He understands what's happening here, right? He doesn't understand the whole thing, but obviously a whole bunch of Titans have popped up. They're all on the good side. They're all on the hero's team. And then Zeke pops up, not coincidentally. And Levy's like, nah. I still can't abide it. Whoa. And even the wall Titans are stopping. So now Ymir herself has changed her mind. She's no longer Team Eren. Is that what I'm to understand here? The rumbling is stopped. Okay. Still just madness. All of these shots are just so insane. The armies of Titans. All doing something slightly unique. All just insane chaos. Jean jumps down. He's gonna blow up Eren's head. It works. We'll see if it gets centipeded back on, but it seems to have detached. Yeah. And here's Jean or John, who, if you recall, just wanted to be part of the interior police and sit around kind of doing nothing, is now face to face with the origin of all Titans. This bizarre parasite, which I'm very glad that they didn't try to understand. They didn't try to explain that. It still is what it is. It still is just this bizarre organism from ancient times. It came out. This thing is trying to reattach Aaron's head. Reiner just slams into it. He just tackles it. I love that. I love the physicality of it. I love that it's just a thing. I don't know if this is like a minority opinion among Attack on Titan fans. I don't engage with the fandom at all. I don't know if people were disappointed that it wasn't something more intelligent, more deliberate, a god-like figure, an ancient civilization, but no. It is just this thing that Armin is going to punch until it stops moving. Reiner is going to just choke slam this thing. Okay. Get out of here. Armin is going to blow this pile of bones to pieces. So the two-sided attack seems to be working. No problem surviving the Colossal Titan's explosion. Not taking his chance to do this would be a waste of Reiner's resolve. Okay. They're all scrambling back on Falco to escape. Okay, and then here we see this bizarre scene. It's almost like religious iconography. This quadrilogy of Titans holding who? Someone. Armin? If it wasn't for everyone's help, we would not have been able to stop the rumbling. Goodbye, Eren. Okay. Armin titanizes. Massive explosion. The founding Titan obliterated, it looks like. Eren's head already detached. And perhaps the founding Titan parasite type thing too, that weird wiggly entity, is going to be annihilated in this blast as well. Could happen. It does seem just kind of like a little fleshy worm thing. Okay. We approach the end. I think there's only 2 more chapters, is my understanding. What do we still have left to do? I doubt Eren is just straight up dead, although Armin did just say goodbye, Eren. I think they'll have a chance for another conversation with him at least. To try to kind of resolve things ideologically, now that it's already been resolved in terms of fight. Probably some more stuff with Zeke, I would think. Or maybe this is Sayonara Zeke, I don't know. He did have a nice moment where he kind of reevaluated his life and decided that it had been worth living, and then he got his head chopped off. Give and take. And they still have to explain whatever the heck this weird dreaming time loop stuff is. That way back, Eren has a prophetic dream, and then much further into the plot, Eren's dad, the person he was cooperating with in Marley, the Marleyan says something about make sure you can save Mikasa and Armin this time or something. It's like, So they probably will explain that. I don't know. Maybe it'll just be like, forget about it. I guess we'll see. We'll see. Before too long, we will see. All right. Please join me when the next chapter comes out. Bye-bye.